Ustream a little bit ahead of when I do Facebook and Periscope. Did I say YouTube? Yeah, I did. And so let me just make sure that this is going to work. Everything looks good. It's a higher bitrate than Periscope likes. It's a little bit larger width and height than Periscope likes, but I can live with that. And the bitrate is well within range. So I am going to go ahead and I think I'm going to get rolling. Give me just 1 second. And I was going to try... Hold on, let me mute that. I'm going to put this up here. Hey, you. Stay. And let me see if I can get Facebook somewhere. I'll move Facebook over to here. And we'll see whether I can maybe get it to the point where I can actually view the broadcast and see if I can actually... Oop. Yeah, I got some lag. There we go. Hi. Sorry. So if you're watching this right now on YouTube or on Ustream, these are going to be... This part's going to be edited out. But I'm hoping to be able to watch the chat in real time over there and the Periscope comments in real time over there. We'll see. Once I actually go live on Facebook and Periscope, that's when the real broadcast is going to start. So, let's give this a shot. Okay? Ready? All right. All right. One more moment. Just waiting for Facebook to catch up, and then we'll get started. So Periscope, you guys are live right now, and but Facebook is still catching up. Let's just call this technical difficulties. We're going to be talking about the microbit in just a moment, and I'm not sure why Facebook isn't catching up just yet. Let's try this one more time. Let me click go live. The preview should be going. What do a walrus and a food container have in common? I have no idea. Oh. It says that I've got eyeballs already. Alright, well, people might be watching. Oh, it does say that I'm live now. Alright. Well, then I'm going to go ahead and get rolling. I don't know why normally this little screen over here would get out of the way, but it doesn't seem to be getting out of the way, so I'm just going to leave it be and assume that everything is hunky-dory and that everything is working. Let me just check one last thing. Yep, the audio is down. Beautiful. All right, let's get rolling. So today I'm going to be doing a brief review of microbits. Now, just so you know, I'm doing this live right now on Periscope and on Facebook, but I'm also going to be recording it. It's on YouTube and Ustream and so on, so that the archive of it that gets posted to Teach42 won't have all that extra stuff at the beginning. So if you want to link to it and share with it later. And good morning, Daisha. I see you too. Microbit. It is a tiny little circuit board that I first learned about when I was doing the conference in St. Martin. And apparently, BBC has committed to giving this to basically every student in the UK, which is kind of cool. It's a very, very relatively reasonably priced little circuit board. I think it's about $10. It might even be a little bit less. Hi, Gail. How are you? Let me just scroll this just a little bit. So here's what it is. On the one side, you can kind of see here. Let me go on this side first. you can see some of the components. So you can see that right up there it has USB, it has a reset button right there, and this is a little jack to plug in a battery pack. But you also might notice that right there it also says BLE antenna. That does mean Bluetooth. You know, right over here, this is actually a Bluetooth antenna. And then down over here, you'll see that you've got the main processor up there. This is actually a compass, so yes, I can tell which direction it's pointing. It has an accelerometer right there, which is kind of cool. And then these are all pins. If you're not sure what I mean by pins, what it essentially means is those are terminals like you'd find on a Makey. So yes, you could plug a banana into it if you are so inclined, and so on. On the other side, it has a few other inputs. So if you think about it, the compass can be an input, the accelerometer can be an input, and so on. So it's facing north, I could do this. But it also has a button right here. It has a button right there. It has the logic to know when both buttons are being pushed. And then because it has an accelerometer, one of the standard buttons is when you shake it, it knows that it's being shaken. Now, what can you actually... Oh, and also, all of these right here are LEDs. Now, what do you do with it? Well, the thing is, it's a little piece of hardware that you can basically do whatever you want with, and all you need to do is be able to have some way to program it, which is where all of these different sites come in. Now, Microsoft has actually released a whole bunch of different sites to program the microbit. Now, the website is microbit.org. If you go to microbit.org, you can learn all about it, and you can find places to order it and so on, see the latest news. But when you go to the coding part, you have the PXT editor, you've got a Python editor, a block editor, a JavaScript editor, a touch developer. They're really all different flavors of the same sort of thing. Oh, Jim, thanks for the warning about the Facebook. I'll check that out later, whether there's some hiccupy type stuff. Lots of different editors. They're all different flavors of the same thing. And when you boil it all down, they're all just block editors, kind of like what you'd expect in Scratch. So don't stress out about which one to choose and so on. Just pick one and roll with it. So I picked the PXT editor. And what you can see is right over here, just like any other block editor that you'd expect, it's got all these different options for coding. So we're going to do something real basic. We're going to start off with the LEDs, and this is one of the sample projects that everyone kind of cuts their teeth on. You make a simple little heart. And so as it is right now, if I were to run that program, it would just make those lights light up, and you can see the sample right there. And it just stays there, right? But we want to make it blink, maybe. So what I'm going to do is, then I'm going to have it pause on this for 500 milliseconds. And then we're going to have it clear the screen. And then we're going to have it pause again for 500. And what's going to happen is as soon as I pause for just a second, that program is going to run up here in the corner. See what I mean? Now I can hit stop and I can make it run again. And that's it. It just turned on and then it turned off. So what we need it to do is loop a little bit. Now I could just say loop forever. And now all of a sudden, once it starts running, you can see it's going to just go and go and go and go and go. Or I can take that part out. We can drag that out, get rid of the forever. And I could say, all right, tell you what. When button A is pressed, I want you to loop. Where's the loop again? Basic. No, loops. Let's have it repeat, how many times? We'll have it repeat 4 times. So only when button A is pressed. Now I can simulate that over here. There's button A, there's button B, and we're going to have it do that. And when you push button A, there we go, it does it 4 times. Not too complicated. Then I can put another program that says when button B, do this. Here, we'll tell you what, we're going to duplicate this whole thing. And we're going to say that when button B is pressed, we're going to do the same sort of thing except for one small difference. We're going to duplicate this. We're going to slide that in there. And we're going to duplicate that and put in another pause and a clear screen. Duplicate and put that over there. And then another pause. And I'm just going to change what this looks like. So I'm going to turn off some of these and make it hollow. So now, when button A is pushed, it's going to do that one 4 times. 2, 3, and That was 4. And when button B is pushed, it's going to alternate between those two. See what I mean? And then I could add another one to when both button A and button B are pushed. I could do another one when it gets shaken and so on. So there's a whole bunch of different kind of ways that you can kind of tinker around with this. Now, at the end of the day, obviously you want to load it up onto the actual microbit. That is kind of ridiculously simple. So what we're going to do is oh, I'm sorry, I just realized you couldn't even see the bottom of that, so I'm just going to scroll that up. I'm going to click on download. Now, when I click download, it's going to give me instructions. Now, it's already saved to my computer. I'm going to ignore those because I'm just going to show it to you like this. It dropped to my computer a file. And let me show you what that looks like over here. It is microbit -untitled -hex. If I'd actually saved the file, it would have a different name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I'm going to plug it in via USB to the, so now it's got actual power and such. And then I'm going to drag this file. You see how the microbit shows up right there? I'm going to drag the file onto the microbit, and that is going to load it up. Now, once it's done copying over there, which usually takes about a couple seconds, these programs are not big at all. Now, all of a sudden, when I have this, and let me turn it right side up so you can see, this over here should be button A. Is that right? So if I push that, it should do the heart 4 times, 3 and 4. And if I push button B, it should do the alternating blink and then hollow and then blink and then hollow. See what I mean? Yeah, pretty simple stuff. But if you think about it, there's actually a lot of pretty sophisticated stuff that you could wind up doing this. Because remember, we have the buttons as inputs, we have the LEDs, we also have the accelerometer, we also have the Bluetooth, and we also have the compass. And you also have the input leads. So that means there's a lot of different stuff you can do with it. Over here, there's a website. I'll link to this in the show notes over on Teach42. Will.i.am put a thing together where he actually made a metronome. So as one of the, if you notice on here, one of them is a 3-volt and a ground and so on. You can actually plug in a speaker and connect it if you want. So this is a simple metronome. There's a microbit countdown timer, a badge adapter on another page. No, that's not the one I wanted. Where is it? This one. 10 projects in 10 days. Someone created a falling Sprite game, roll the dice, so you can make it your own little 6-sided die, 10-sided die. You could turn it into a magic 8-ball. You can make it into a pedometer. You could use it to control all sorts of different stuff. There's actually a really robust amount of things, a ton of things that you can do with this. And because it does have that Bluetooth potential, you can actually have multiple microbits connect to each other. Somebody actually connected over 1,000 microbits together to create one giant digital sign. Now, is that the most cost-effective way to do something? No, but as a proof of concept, it's pretty awesome. So, that in a nutshell is microbits. I'm going to put a lot more into the... and just so you can see, somewhere around here, I've actually got a battery pack. I think I paid an extra $1 or $2 for the battery pack. I can't remember exactly what it was. But you just plug that in right over here, and then it'll work. It'll work when you are away from your computer. You don't need it to still be plugged in via USB for it to keep its power. Of course, it probably would have helped. Do I actually have? Oh, yeah, I do have power on there. Anyway, you get the idea. So once again, if you think of it as something like a Little Bits, it is, just a very, very simple but robust piece of technology. But what I like about this is a lot more open-ended in terms of the kids coming up with an idea and being able to really implement it in a variety of different ways. LEDs, a couple of different inputs, an accelerometer, and block programming, and all of a sudden the number of things that you can do is almost infinite. All right, well, I am going to wrap things up. We're almost at the 15-minute mark or so, but then again, that doesn't necessarily count for all the rambling that I did. But even so, I think I'm going to wrap it up right about now. I might do another show on one more advanced uses of this at some point. I apologize on Facebook if this is too choppy. I'm going to go check that out later and see what happened. But in the meantime, definitely look into this. It is a fantastic device, and like I said, at around $5-10, it's almost a throwaway. I've played around with it a bunch, and then I literally just handed it to Aiden, and he's taken it to school. He programs it during his lunch break. He does it here at home. He does it when his friends come over. They turn off the Xbox and they go upstairs to program a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. All right, well, thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, if you're looking for, this is the third show in this series that I've done, these little micro technology reviews. I'm going to be posting all of them over at Teach42.com, and if you have requests for things that you'd like me to take a look at and do a micro review on, please let me know there. In the meantime, thank you very much for tuning in, and until the next one, adios, sayonara, auf Wiedersehen, shalom, and fare thee well. Have a great day, everybody.